Have you heard the story about the pencil and the eraser? One day, the eraser says to the pencil, "Hey, how are you?" And the pencil snaps back, "I'm not your friend. I hate you." "Why?" the eraser asks. "Because you erase everything I write." "But I only remove the mistakes," says the eraser gently. "Well, that doesn't make it right," says the pencil. "But that's my purpose. That's why I'm here." The pencil grumbles. "Then your job is meaningless. Writing is more important than erasing." To erase the wrong is just as important as writing the right. The pencil pauses, then quietly says, "But I see you get smaller every day." "Well, that's because I give a little bit of myself every time I help to correct a mistake." The pencil admits, "I feel smaller too." The eraser smiles and says, "We can't do good for others unless we are willing to sacrifice part of ourselves. Do you still hate me?" The pencil smiles back, "How can I hate someone who gives so much of themselves?" It just occurred to me. I don't know why this didn't occur to me when I was writing this. But isn't it interesting how the pencil and the eraser are the same body? Unless you use one of those artist erasers, right? So the moral of the story is, if you can't be the pencil that writes the right, be the eraser that rights the wrongs. We all have a role to play in our history. There's a little bit of pencil and eraser in each of us. And sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we get it wrong. And lately, it seems like we're going to need a really big eraser. This Memorial Day weekend, as we remember those who gave their lives in the fight for freedom, we summon for ourselves the same courage and commitment to preserve the freedoms enshrined in the Constitution of the United States today. The right to bodily autonomy, access to reproductive health care, voting rights, birthright citizenship, due process, and the rule of law are all being blatantly and unashamedly ignored. Bans on books that teach our children about the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, benefits and entitlements for our veterans, the elderly, and the disabled are being gutted. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is being narrowly redefined to preserved for people who identify as white, cisgender, and heterosexual. I don't know about you, but this decade in my life, I have seen our capacity to inflict and endure suffering without weapons, and it's nothing less than phenomenal. Christiane Pelmus tells us we must make ourselves inhospitable to the strategic assaults to our spirit and our courage. We must learn to serve in these times from a place of love, deep imagination, and fertile rage. This time in our nation's history calls upon us to engage in what Sharon Welch calls an ethic of risk. While such an ethic understands our actions may not achieve a desired outcome, it also recognizes how a lack of resistance to oppression may lead us to certain death. Death of the imagination, death of caring, and death of our ability to love. Lately, people have been checking in saying, I'm unable to focus my thoughts. Everything that's going on in the world is overwhelming. And I join you. I'm experiencing the same thing. But when we lose our ability to focus and we lose our imagination, these are symptoms of trauma. We lose our ability to imagine strategies of resistance. We need to find ways to comfort and inspire each other in this long struggle for justice. We need to keep our imaginations alive. We need to remember joy. We need to walk in nature. We need to be in each other's company. And all it takes is one little idea, and we find our strength. In doing a risk assessment, our congregational leaders here at UU Middleboro have organized a team to assess and improve our building's security and develop a rapid response team to preserve our prophetic mission in the community and to protect the freedoms of people with target identities. People respond to a crisis in a variety of ways, and how we respond reminds me of the poem written by the German Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller shortly after the end of World War II. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I am not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I am not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I'm not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I am not Jewish. And I would add these verses to reflect the politics of our time. Then they came for the immigrants, and I did not speak out because I am not an immigrant. Then they came for the elderly and disabled, and I did not speak out because I am not elderly or disabled. Then they came for members of the LGBTQ community, and I did not speak out because I am not lesbian, gay, trans, or queer. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. This Memorial Day, we acknowledge there are many battlefronts in the fight for freedom today. May we find within ourselves the integrity of the pencil to speak truth to power, and the courage of the eraser to right wrongs in this chapter of our nation's history. In 1831, a Baptist seminary student right here from Massachusetts named Samuel Francis Smith wrote the song, which I've adapted to include me. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where our fathers died and our mothers, land of all people's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. May it be so.